Welcome. Today we'll explore the essential role of civil rights in food assistance programs, specifically focusing on the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, CSFP, and the Emergency Food Assistance Program called TEFAP. CSFP program focuses on providing essential food assistance to low-income individuals, especially the elderly, while TEFAP provides the same food assistance to low-income individuals and families. The objectives that we're hoping to understand today are in regards to the civil rights within the food assistance programs. We learn about CSFP and TEFAP roles in more detail and recognize our role in promoting equity and respect for all participants. Moreover, by participating in this training, you are helping ensure that all individuals are treated fairly in our food assistance programs. Let's take a moment to delve into the legal authorities that serve as the foundation of our civil rights obligations. Title VI of Civil Rights Act 1964 stands as a fundamental pillar of our civil rights framework. This legislation explicitly prohibits discrimination based on race, color, or national origin in all federally funded programs. The Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987 clarifies and strengthens protections against discrimination, ensuring that our commitment to equity is upheld across all federally funded activities. The Rehabilitation and Americans with Disabilities Act guarantees access and rights for individuals with disabilities. Title 11 addresses gender discrimination, promoting fairness and equity for all, regardless of gender. The Age Discrimination Act protects older adults. Together, these laws create a comprehensive framework for civil rights that empower us to serve our communities effectively. The USDA regulations plays a vital role in implementing civil rights laws within our federally assisted programs. Specifically, 7 CFR refers to Title VII of our Code of Federal Regulations, including the processes for reporting discrimination and outlines the procedures for investigating such complaints. 7 CFR Part 5 outlines the fundamental civil rights protections in our programs, while CFR Part 16, titled Equal Opportunity for Religious Organizations, ensures that religiously affiliated organizations are given equal footing in accessing resources and support for the individuals that they serve. 28 CFR 35 covers the non-discrimination on the basis of disability in state and local government services, ensuring that public entities are accessible to all individuals. The Executive Order 13166 emphasizes importance of ensuring that individuals with limited English proficiencies, which I will refer to as LEP, have meaningful access to federal services. It requires federal agencies to provide language assistance to LEP individuals to prevent discrimination based on national origin. Organizations receiving federal funding, including those involved in TEFAP, must actively work to remove language barriers. This involves implementing policies and practices such as providing translation and interpretation services, ensuring that all communications are accessible, and training staff to understand and address these needs of LEP individuals. Guidance to federal financial assistance recipients regarding the Title VI prohibition against national origin discrimination affecting persons with limited English proficiency includes conducting assessments to identify LEP individuals in their service area and implementing effective language assistance measures. We have many resources to help implement LEP best practices within our agency services intranet front door, and you can absolutely reach out to your Central Pennsylvania Food Bank agency services rep for more information. Just as a reminder that both the USDA departmental regulations and the Food Nutrition Service, which is FNS, emphasize the importance of preventing discrimination and ensuring civil rights compliance within the USDA funded programs like TEFAP and CSFP. So what is discrimination? Discrimination refers to the different treatment of individuals or groups, which can create distinctions based on various factors. This treatment can occur either intentionally or through deliberate actions, or neglectfully through inaction or failure to address needs. It's essential to understand that discrimination often stems from biases against protected classes. Those classes are listed here. And again, it's important to note that intentional discrimination involves conscious decisions to treat someone unfairly, while neglectful discrimination can occur when organizations fail to take necessary actions to support all individuals, especially those from the protected classes listed here. To qualify for federal assistance, entities must submit a written assurance that they will comply with all non-discrimination laws and regulations. The Civil Rights Assurance Statement must be included in agreements between federal and CSFP and TEFAP state agencies, as well as between state agencies and subrecipient agencies, and between subrecipient agencies and their local sites, if applicable. Every FNS assistance program is required to implement a public notification system. This system plays a crucial role in ensuring that all stakeholders are informed and aware of their rights and responsibilities. The purpose of public notification systems is to ensure program availability, which means that individuals need to know when and how they can access the programs available to them. This includes details on eligibility criteria and the application process. Program rights and responsibilities means it's vital that participants understand their rights within the program as well as their responsibilities. The policy of non-discrimination includes the notification system that must clearly communicate the policy of non-discrimination, ensuring that all individuals understand their right to equitable treatment regardless of their background. Finally, the procedure for filing a complaint is the system that should outline the procedures for filing a complaint. Here are the essential elements that must be implemented. Program availability, again, which was highlighted in the previous slide. The complaint information on how to file, and then the procedure for that, and then the non-discrimination statement. If you need more information on where and how to state the non-discrimination statement or link to your website, please let us know and we can help direct you to those resources. State agencies and their subrecipients must do a myriad of things to make sure that the program is accessible to them. This information should be provided in a language or a format that individuals can understand. We also need to make sure that we are prominently displaying the "And Justice for All" posters, and that agencies are required to prominently display these posters in all service areas. It is essential to inform potentially eligible persons, applicants, participants, and community organizations about programs and any changes to these programs. It's also important to convey the message of equal opportunity. All photos and graphics used in program-related materials must convey a clear message of opportunity. And once again, it is essential to inform persons with limited English proficiency to their right to free language assistance services. To ensure compliance with non-discrimination policies, it is essential that a full non-discrimination statement is included in key documents and communications. Here are the minimum requirements for where the statement must appear. And again, here it is in Spanish. The non-discrimination statements can be found at USDA.gov, with the most recent translations in many different languages are also available here. Here is what the "And Justice for All" poster looks like. And that, again, is required to be displayed in any program site that is receiving federal funding. State agencies and local agencies, along with other subrecipient operating the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, CSFP. Again, this is just being addressed to CSFP program participants. They are required to collect and maintain racial and ethnic data. This data collection helps assess how effectively FNS programs are reaching potentially eligible individuals and beneficiaries. Additionally, the state agencies must implement a system to gather racial and ethnic information from each person applying for and receiving benefits to ensure compliance with civil rights regulations. Again, just for CSFB programming, data should be collected at the time of application and retained within the service delivery area. Applicants must be assured that this information is solely for statistical purposes and does not impact their eligibility. If an applicant chooses not to self-identify their race or ethnicity, staff will determine it through visual observation and mark the appropriate category. You can also check out our hunger mapping data on our website or ask your agency services rep for more resources specifically about your local community, in addition to these population data sources. So what is a disability? A disability is defined as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, including a record of such an impairment, or is regarded as having such an impairment. Major life activities encompass functions such as self-care, manual tasks, walking, seeing, hearing, speaking, breathing, learning, and working, as well as various bodily functions, including immune system, normal cell growth, digestion, neurological function, and reproductive capabilities. This definition is outlined in the ADA Amendments Act of 2008. Section 504 states that no qualified individuals with a disability in the United States shall be excluded from, denied benefits of, or subjected to discrimination in any program or activity that receives federal financial assistance, or is conducted by any executive agency or the United States Postal Service due to their disability. Similarly, the Americans with Disabilities Act establishes non-discrimination requirements that prohibit discrimination based on disability in services, programs, and activities provided by state and local government entities. There is an obligation to provide reasonable modifications to ensure that members of the public can access program information, applications, and assistance. This may include formats such as Braille, large print, and audio tapes. Additionally, providing qualified sign language interpreters or other auxiliary aids and services may be necessary to facilitate effective communication with applicants and participants who have hearing disabilities. As programs and offices modernize, it is crucial that websites, including those of state and local agencies, as well as online application systems, are accessible and usable for individuals with visual impairments and other disabilities. Furthermore, programs must ensure physical accessibility in buildings and facilities, particularly for individuals who use wheelchairs or have mobility disabilities. Additionally, programs must allow service animals to accompany people with disabilities in all areas open to the public. This regulation ensures that faith-based organizations have equal access to participate in USDA programs alongside other community organizations. It aims to create a level playing field, allowing these organizations to contribute to and benefit from federal assistance without facing discrimination or barriers based on their religious status. Subrecipient agencies are responsible for training their local sites, including frontline staff who interact with applicants or participants on an annual basis. New employees must receive training before they can participate in program activities. Additionally, volunteers should receive training as it is appropriate to their specific roles and responsibilities. All staff should receive training on all aspects of civil rights compliance, including but not limited to collection and use of data, effective public notification systems, complaint procedures, compliance review techniques, resolution of noncompliance, requirements for reasonable modifications for persons with disabilities, requirements for language assistance, conflict resolution, which we will cover soon, and in customer service. Complaints of discrimination must be filed within 180 days from an alleged act of discrimination with exceptions to the USDA. It is crucial that applicants and participants file their complaints within 180 days in order to activate the timely review and actions for the complaints. While developing complaint forms is optional, it is important to note that the use of such forms cannot be a prerequisite for accepting a complaint. This ensures accessibility for all participants. While logging the complaint, please maintain a separate log for civil rights complaints distinct from other program complaints. This helps in tracking and addressing these issues effectively. And of course, maintaining confidentiality is of utmost importance. All complaints must be handled with discretion to protect the privacy of the individuals involved. All complaints must be based on all protected bases, and complaints can be accepted either written, verbal, or anonymously. Handling discrimination complaints requires clear steps, including collecting necessary information while maintaining confidentiality. It is all of our responsibility to ensure that all complaints are taken seriously and addressed promptly. Individuals must be informed about their rights to file complaints regarding discrimination, and providing clear procedures for filing complaints empowers individuals to voice their concerns. So what are compliance reviews? They are the systematic evaluations conducted to ensure that programs and services comply with civil rights laws and regulations. These reviews assess whether entities are providing equitable access and treatment to all participants. The review process involves multiple levels. FNS civil rights and program staff review the state agencies to ensure compliance. Then the state agencies review their subrecipients, and then the subrecipients review their local agencies. Any significant findings must be provided in writing to the reviewed entity and to FNS. There are 3 types of compliance reviews: pre-award compliance reviews, routine compliance reviews, and special compliance reviews. So a pre-award compliance review are typically carried out by state agencies. These reviews primarily involve desk reviews, where agencies analyze the information submitted by potential recipients in their applications to operate a food and nutrition service program. This process is crucial for verifying that organizations are prepared to comply with civil rights obligations before they are granted funding. Importantly, no federal funds are allocated to state agencies until a successful pre-award compliance review is completed. Next, there's routine post-award compliance reviews. These reviews are conducted after funds have been awarded, focusing on ongoing compliance with civil rights regulations throughout the program's life cycle. This helps identify any issues that may arise during the implementation of the program. Example post-award review questions are listed here. Lastly, there are independently oversighted special compliance reviews that are conducted either independently by the USDA or in collaboration with FNS program staff. This dual approach ensures thorough oversight of civil rights compliance. The purpose of these reviews includes the follow-up of noncompliance. These reviews can be scheduled or unscheduled, particularly following previous findings of noncompliance. They serve as a mechanism to hold entities accountable and to ensure corrective actions are taken. Investigating reports may also be initiated in response to reports from noncompliance from various sources, including other agencies, media, or grassroots organizations. This responsiveness highlights our commitment to transparency and accountability. There are other specific triggers that could trigger a review. Special reviews may be prompted to address specific incidents or policies that raise concerns about civil rights violations. There could also be statistical underrepresentations. If an entity has a history of statistical underrepresentation of certain groups, that can trigger a review. This is essential for identifying and addressing systemic inequalities. There can also be patterns of discrimination complaints. A pattern of complaints regards discrimination can also lead to a special review. This proactive approach ensures that issues are addressed before they escalate, reinforcing the commitment to equitable access and treatment for all individuals. With the resolution of noncompliance, a factual finding of any civil rights requirement as provided by law, regulation, policy, instruction, or guidelines is not being adhered to by a state agency, subrecipient, or a local site. Steps must be taken immediately to obtain voluntary compliance, and a finding's effective date is the date of notice to the reviewed entity. Again, the effective date of finding is established as the date when the reviewed entity is notified. This date is crucial as it marks the beginning of the compliance process and the timeline for necessary corrective actions. Clear communication of findings is essential for accountability and for guiding the reviewed entity toward compliance. This does not go without saying, because again, for those of us that have been doing this for a long time, or if you are brand new to this, these are great reminders of how to comply with the required customer service that civil rights requires. Making a difference by treating all with dignity and respect, answering questions in a voice that is not threatening, clearly explaining to everyone the rules as well as their rights and responsibilities, recognizing when stress creates a problem and giving excellent service, recognizing that participants need varied needs and sometimes few resources. Notice when a person feels they have been treated in a rude manner, and developing good listening skills. For volunteers, it's also good to note and have your best practices when you're talking to your local agency. Creating rotating shifts also helps with this to avoid burnout. So with conflict resolution, it's important to put your attitude in check. Always clearly introduce yourself when answering the telephone and do not interrupt the caller. Be patient. Give the client every opportunity to explain the issue. Be understanding of all the communication situations that you encounter. Angry clients require the most empathy. Do not be judgmental. And please talk calmly and slowly in a well-modulated voice that is low-pitched. This could help relax the person and allow you to address the facts and not cater to the emotions. Be sincere. Even if you sense that the problem is not the fault of your organization and clearly not your fault, it is okay to apologize to the client for his or her inconvenience, not necessarily the actions of your agency. And also be aware. Get help if threatened or if violence is possible. And what steps do you need to take? If there is a conflict that is arising, remain calm. Make sure you address what the problem actually is using information provided and determine what the issue is. Determine a solution. Know your organization's policy on handling situations and information needed to offer a solution. Gain approval from the client. Check with the client for their approval on a solution and make an agreement. You and the client should determine what it is to be done, when it is to be done, and by whom, and alternatives if needed. And most importantly, follow up. personally to make sure that the client has been satisfied and provide feedback. Should you have additional questions, please reach out to us at the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank or the USDA.gov website to find additional references for accessibilities and recommendations. And please follow this training with continued conversation between leadership, staff, and volunteers surrounding customer service and conflict resolution best practices for your agency. And please know that you can utilize any staff at the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank with any questions at arinfo@centralpafoodbank.org. Thank you for listening to this recording.